Welcome to another episode of Tres Leches Radio, representing 1/3 of the trios. Yours truly, Mr. Rad Soul, who did not shave for today's episode. Gentlemen, gentlemen, my more well-groomed partners, say hello.
Oh, I got a little grizz going on, but it is though the guy runs matic. You know what I mean? Keep it thorough.
Yo, man, happy fall, y'all. It's the Big Daddy Brand in the building.
Big Daddy Coleman.
Big Daddy Cole.
Hey, well, as always, guys, if you're looking for us, we are on all things social media at Tres Leches Radio, YouTube. Also, you can stream us on Spotify, Amazon Music, and I think the Apple Music's still being worked out. But yeah, other than that, you have successfully found us. And with that said, Renzo, take it away.
Man, we got a special treat for you tonight, man. We got the class of '87. We got Boogie Down's own KRS-One, and of course we got the Big Daddy Kane. We got BDP, Juice Crew. A lot of history here. A lot of history. I mean, this is essentially the essence,
Yes,
arguably, of hip hop. And when we talk about Verzuz, this is what Verzuz was pretty much supposed to be. How we were witnessing last night, as far as like two MCs, it's going song for song. So it was definitely a treat, for sure. But going into the Verzuz itself, gentlemen, how were we feeling? Like, I know we were talking, of course, in our regular chats, but who do we have, just based off the the title, taking it, just on paper?
Oh man, well, first off, when this was announced, I could hear Brandon scream from over here in Jersey all the way in the Philly area. Because like I said, he is our resident Big Daddy Kane guy. Yeah, but when this was announced, I liked it. It was a nice homage. I don't even want to say the old school, because sometimes that's like, I know sometimes that's a flattering term, but this is more like you said, this is the alpha of the omega. You know what I'm saying? This is the original. You know what I'm saying? And I will say, I think everybody was, even though everybody was probably hoping for like a Big Daddy Kane and Rakim, I thought this was a good matchup as well. Yeah. I mean, I don't know if like on paper, just in terms of volume, I was thinking like maybe KRS-One would have this, but at the same time, I figured it could go either way.
Yeah, for sure.
And forgot to add this, should have said this at the top of the tippy top of the show. We got a new just parental advisory 18 and up that we just want to give to everybody. We usually try to be a family show, but sometimes, we let it go. So with that being said, man, if you're under 18, we want y'all to tune in and get this vibe, but also we want to give y'all the parental advisory content when necessary. On that note, man, I thought Kane, might have been in trouble with this one, like early on, like when they first announced the two. Mm-hmm. Just because of like you said, Ray, in our voice notes, KRS's volume.
He still puts out albums till like this day, right? Yeah. Like KRS,
30 years. But to win this Verzuz, at least how we do it, you only need 11. You got to, so yeah, the odds got to outweigh it. And so Kane definitely has that, so.
In order to get those 11, you got to have 20.
You got right. You got to have at least 20 to throw up.
Yeah,
but 11
to win,
11 to take, for sure.
Yeah. I think for me, I was the only one at the time that you look at these two super heavyweights here, but as we all mentioned already, clearly KRS has more to pull from, versus Kane. Kind of once he got into early to somewhat mid-90s, Kane kind of slowed it down, where KRS still kept pumping out the material. But I always look at, it's quality versus quantity. And, and to me, it's all about your song placements and where you're putting it at and how, and it's a chess, this definitely was a chess. You got to look at these verses. So I personally was pulling for Kane, but, one of the things that can go either way, obviously.
But were you pulling for Kane also because you think he was the underdog? Like, were you kind of going?
See, that's the funny thing. I didn't really look at him being an underdog, though. Even though he had less material, I didn't see him being an underdog. That's based off his pedigree and what he already brought to the table. You know what I mean? It's not like we saw certain verses where we already said, hey, this guy couldn't sustain, after a certain amount of tracks. He had less to pull from, but I think he had enough, top tier cuts that he could still, be able to hang with Chris, ultimately.
Word. Yeah, with Kane, and as we step into like the first couple rounds, I was wondering like how he was going to bring the performance aspect, because that's where he has the X factor.
Yeah.
And so we'll get into that. But yeah.
For sure. And then that's one thing about MCing is the performance where, we probably haven't really seen that as much with these other verses. So for younger cats and, even if you're in the culture and the genre, hopefully they were taking notes as far as how the performance aspect, just not you do a song, because we talk about artists like Big Crit, for example, as far as add that performance factor, But I guess we'll start getting to the round of things here. One thing I did want to mention, because we were kind of talking about this last minute, because Kane initially said that he wanted, for the verse that actually have freestyles and that which we did see, but not in the format that that was supposed to be. I think DJ Scratch had posted up on IG how they would put the format with like 5, them doing 10 songs, had a little freestyle battle, and the dance battles and the DJ. And he said, Chris going kind of off course, which kind of, quote unquote, might have messed things up, depending on who you were, asking, but I still enjoyed it overall. And, the formatting, was a little choppy at times, but, still definitely entertaining for sure.
Oh, man, this was so much fun.
Yeah, that definitely has a way of, if you knew you were going to play, there's probably a certain 5 for any artist doing a versus where, all right, I'm probably not playing these until rounds 15 to 20, right? That these are your, your missiles, your, you know what I mean? And you throw in the monkey wrench like that, the night of during it, that's gonna mess up some things, especially if you're not the one who switched it up. You know what I mean? That sounds like a little bit of a cheat code, but I'm not gonna point. I'm not gonna start controversy just yet.
All right. So that's with that said, then let's start getting to these rounds here. So round 1, of course, after Chris, talked a little stuff about Kane being a little late or hiding, quote unquote. We started off with Criminal Minded, and then Kane responded with Just Rhyming with Biz. So how are we feeling about these song selections here?
I didn't like that. I mean, who knows what the reason was for, but when Kane wasn't coming out, I was getting that. Remember when Dipset, when Cam didn't come out and it was delaying it, I was just like, this is a terrible start. I was like, last time this happened, I was like, one side just got absolutely demolished. But I think KRS, he did a good job. Like he kept the show going, so he just went off first. You know what I mean? He was gonna go first anyway, and at least once they came out and performed their songs, I would have to say, one, I like that early on, Big Daddy Kane, he went Just Rhyming with Biz. He gave the shout out to Biz Markie, rest in peace. Sure. You know what I'm saying? But as far as songs, I think KRS, otherwise, I think he set the tone with a higher energy rendition of the BDP cut. It was a close one, but I gave this to KRS off the energy. Like I think in my mind this could have been like a tie, but I don't like to do ties for these. So, I just kind of went off the energy here. I gave this one to KRS, but this was one where I felt like if I pick this and y'all pick that, like I get it. To me, this isn't a landslide kickoff round.
Yeah. I tried to. So I had like 2 tie rounds, but I'm gonna choose for some of these because you just gotta come up with an answer. But this was a close tie one for me. Chris came in. I mean, this is the right song for him, Criminal Minded. I mean, this is the beginning, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. It is the power record off that first album. And Kane, the Kane's answer is actually kind of like it's a modest cut. That wasn't a single. That was more like a kind of a club, underground kind of street record. But with Biz, just as the angel above, oh man, that was like so appropriate. You know what I mean? That joint got me goosebumps. If Biz had been there, man, good Lord, man, that like
if he would have been there, it makes you wonder if this song would have then been later in the round, right? Because how they do special guests and stuff. It makes you wonder, would he have started off with this, right?
Yeah. So I had to go, like it was a close one for me, but I just went rhyming with Biz just for the essence of Biz Markie, right? And like, Chris been rhyming without his partner just freaking the second album.
Early days,
But
Scott LaRock just
Scott LaRock, for the people. But Biz, we just lost him, and we don't really. This was the public kind of like forum where we got to like just give Biz his credit because we just hadn't had that moment yet, and for public hip hop notoriety. So I gave it to Kane on this one.
Okay, yeah, it went both ways for me. Like you said, perfect track, KRS to start off with the Criminal Minded, but it was just maybe that's that vibe that when Kane came out, brought up Biz's name, you know, how he's like, this is how Biz probably would introduce everything here, and that's went in, and I thought it was an excellent counter. And I gave it a slight edge to Kane. A lot of the reasons why you had mentioned Stacks, and I don't know, this it was, to me, it was so nice opening cut for him too. You know, it then made match that same quote unquote energy, you know, but it still gave it like almost a thing where like I want to, you know, saying this is more of a marathon versus a sprint, you know, type race. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I went with Kane as well. So we look at round one then, you know, majority rules saying we got Kane taking round one at this point.
All right.
Yep.
All right. So then, pardon me, we go into the second round. Kane drops, you know, I'm still number one. And then at that point, Kane, my fault.
Yeah, so I think the first 10 is KRS, and then the second 10, like it's Kane that went first. Because I think that's how they always do it with these verses. Yeah.
So KRS, I did some number one, and then we had Kane followed with Enough Respect as his counter. So where are we feeling with this round here, gentlemen?
Enough Respect was See, Kane, Enough Respect is a cool record. Kane should have talked about the movie Juice, because that song is the soundtrack in Juice when they're in the arcade, Omar Epps and the whole crew, Tupac and all
playing Street Fighter 1, I think, right? Like,
that's when you got to capitalize. Like, yo, man, I was a part of this moment, and he just went right into Enough Respect. So I think that kind of killed a little bit of his. I mean, don't get me wrong. In real time, I was like, oh man, you know what I mean? I was on, but still number one, bro, is like, oh, that's a heavy bullet. So I got to go with Chris on that one.
And like like I was thinking, like when it happened, I'm like, even though like Kane picks up the tempo here, I think KRS still had the crowd. He had the crowd rapping along with him. This is the first of many times where the crowd is rapping along with him, and they're rapping along with him, and even like, you know, like he could put the mic out there and they're finished. You hear them reciting his lyrics. And honestly, I didn't hear that for Enough Respect. So this round to me was a layup to KRS-One.
Yeah, I felt like the energy, you know, really shifted in Chris's favor with that. Because like I say, Kane kind of came with the song. Not that people didn't know, but like I say, he brought a little more background to it to get you in that vibe. But Chris, you know, he really had the crowd moving, you know, was still number one. So I'm saying with you, gentlemen. So that's pretty much, like you said, layup, alley-oop. You know what I mean? A Steph Curry, a Kobe, you know, however you want to word that. So, yeah, so right now, definitely got two. Well, round two goes definitely to KRS on that one there.
Yeah.
All across the board, everybody went KRS on that one.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
And I think we're going to notice a lot of these rounds, even when we had one over the others, almost like it could have, a lot of these to me could have gone either way. You know what I mean? I don't think any, you know, regardless of who we think going to win, it's not a landslide by any means here.
Yeah, like overall, I don't think this whole thing was a lot closer than I expected it to be. Yeah. I do think there's some rounds, and obviously when we get to them, like I'll say, I think some rounds are like the one we just did right now, I think was a landslide to KRS, but I think there's also rounds like that for Big Daddy Kane. But as a whole, this whole thing a little bit more even than I think would have been expected. Yeah,
exactly, for sure. So as we transition into round three here, you know,
they both let off their top shelf misses pretty early too.
Yeah. Cause I remember Questlove on certain aspects, he's like, oh, you did this one too early. But I mean, man, I'm like, they just dropping bombs. But we got KRS, you know, MCs act like they don't know, and then of course Kane came back with the, you know, Young, Gifted, and Black. You know, so I mean, definitely some bangers here. I don't know how y'all went with it. But let me know.
This was a tie. I'm sorry. This was I got on one of them I put Not Fair. Why are you making me do this? I had to literally tie because MCs act like they don't know. I mean, come on, man. Like him and Primo, like that's a classic classic hip
Yeah,
hop.
they both let off. This is top shelf songs that honestly, I don't think either of these should have been played in round 3. I'm not mad that you hear them this early because the crowd really like went up a notch, but strategy wise, would have saved both of these for later.
Yeah. So, and Young, Gifted, and Black, to me, this is when Kane, well, almost, I'm getting ahead of myself, but like this Young, Gifted, and Black, I remember when Jay-Z redid it in like the
he did like that mixtape. Yeah.
This song is timeless. You know what I mean? The hottest rapper right now could use this beat. You know what I mean? And do it that rendition. So I literally gave it up to both of them, and I got some couple ties, but I'm gonna choose later in these rounds. But I had to this is a even Steven, yo.
Well, it's kind of add to what I was saying. Like I said, I felt KRS played this one way earlier than I anticipated, and I don't know if that forced Kane to play this joint, to match it. And to be honest, I've always felt with Kane's record is the harder joint for me. KRS, I don't know if you guys remember, but like because I watched this twice. When this song came on, the camera happened to be on KRS's face, and when he heard first you hear the opening, like the speaking, and then the beat kicks in, and then KRS made the oh shit face, like he actually pulled this one out like soon. So between my personal preference of Young, Gifted, and Black, and KRS even making that oh shit face, this is Kane for me.
Yeah,
Rand, it's up to you. It's up to you.
Once I heard the Farrakhan intro, I was like, no, I mean, I like, and I feel the same, but I mean, I couldn't deny that one there, you know what I mean? Because he was going full God body on that one. I'm like, you know what I mean? I can't disrespect the God, so I had to give it to King Asiatic. I mean, nobody's equal, you know what I mean? So that's why I went with round 3.
You know what I noticed too, and is like these records. So like I felt like they were kind of catching. They were kind of getting their energy back a little bit here. Like I noticed, like they weren't as like, especially like KRS, they weren't as like loud on the mic or whatever. So I don't know, like these records kind of allowed them to kind of catch their breath a little bit. You know what I mean? It's just something I noticed that it wasn't as true. It's not like when Step Into a World came out, right? Like, so I felt like this. Maybe they, maybe everybody got to pace themselves like that. But I just noticed, I was like, maybe they're catching their energy here a little bit because it's still so early. So
yeah. That's one thing I noticed throughout, and we're probably talking later rounds as well, as far as the performance aspect, as far as who might be getting a little more winded as the later rounds, went on.
I got tired. I got tired for them sometimes. Like,
oh man, arthritis.
So wait, that was round 3. So that went to Kane. 2-1 Kane.
Kane right now. 2-1 Kane.
And at this point, I'm absolutely going bonkers in my crib right now in my living room.
That's why his phone's broken. He threw it. That's why he threw it.
It wasn't the water.
Roofie.
Oh man. All right. So as we slide into round 4, we had KRS, and he did 2 songs in this one. I remember you mentioned, right?
He did. Yeah, I think you got it right. The MC, and then he did Out of Here.
Out of Here. Okay, yeah, he had the MC Out of Here, and then Kane had Rap Summary. I'm gonna let y'all. This one is not fair ones to me, especially with a combination. But I'll let y'all, chime in first with it.
Yeah, the Lean on Me.
Go ahead, B-Stacks.
Yeah, the Lean on Me record is huge. Like soundtrack. You know what I mean? Again, which KRS would count another soundtrack in the next round. Yeah. But I mean, this tells you how good Lean on Me is, because Chris, to me, it took those 2 songs for Chris to win this round for me. Because I mean, Who Am I, the MC's dope ass record from that 96 album. And then, Out of Here. I mean, Boogie Down was performing, and it ain't no joke. Down with the sound called Beatty. That beat just slams, yo. I mean,
go ahead.
I mean, Lights Out. It's like Chris gets it for Out of Here. It just knocks.
Yeah, that's my reason too. Out of Here that was another one where I noticed there's certain songs where the crowds were in it more than other times. Out of Here had the crowd participation back on KRS's side for this one. So even though he went with 2 songs, for me, if it was the MC versus rap summary, it could have went either way. It's KRS's Out of Here that gives this round to him, in my opinion. A little bit of a cheat code because it's 2-1, right? Like, but I would say Out of Here is what put this round in KRS's hand for me.
Yeah, I agree for same exact reasons. Because I think, like, and there's no disrespect to rap summary, but it's almost like it kind of fell flat compared to it, when Chris came, with, and like you said, there's a crowd energy and everything. It's something that you can't really deny at that point. You know what I mean? Because, when we look at Verzuz, especially when we're talking about two alpha males going at it, you're going to be looking for that crowd participation, how the crowd vibing and everything.
Hey,
and definitely had that,
And fun fact, Out of Here was actually on that Clocker soundtrack.
Oh, really?
Clockers, wow. That's going back.
Makai Pfeiffer joint.
Makai Pfeiffer, yeah. All right, so we got that clear cut for Chris on that one.
2-2.
Yeah, so we got 2-2 currently here. All right, so nice little head-to-head matchup still. All right, so as we entered round 5, we got KRS with Jack of Spades and Kane with his rebuttal Set It Off. How we feeling on this round here?
I got to change my wardrobe. Give me a minute.
All right. Oh man, we about to go to war, huh?
I'm ready. I'm ready.
I'm ready. He's gonna have his face paint on in the next by round 10. Like, well, let me. All right, you know what? Wait, I'm like clicking buttons here. I shouldn't.
Yeah.
Set It Off was probably played too early, but absolutely is the bigger record here. I think it's the bigger record in Kane's arsenal over KRS going with Jack of Spades. Jack of Spades didn't pull the crowd in and simply does, honestly, I don't think packs the punch of Set It Off. To me, what I said before, there's certain rounds that are layups. To me, this is a layup to Kane with Set It Off.
Mm-hmm.
Jack of Spades, dope ass record. Set It Off, bro. That's one of them joints, bro. Like Kane got like 3 missiles that will kill anybody. This is number 1. This is the first missile.
Yeah.
Actually, you know what? I would actually say the other. I think Young Gifted and Black.
Gifted and Black could be the number 4. Yeah.
I would say and again, I mean, I don't know if you agree or not, but like a Set It Off or Young Gifted and Black, did you guys don't feel like they were played a little too early?
Well, all right, I'll let Reds piggyback, but I feel like Kane is a technician, right? He's a maestro. So I feel like Kane already had this thing like lined up, and I feel like Chris was way more loose. I feel like I'm gonna just do this. Hence how we said at the top of this episode, Chris was the one who switched this format up a little bit. So I think that Kane already had this kind of like occupied in his head. So I actually don't think that anything was too late or too soon for Kane per se.
Yeah. I felt like this track, and I think we'll look at some other rounds that follow after it. I think it was like a shift as far as momentum building, and more so in Kane's favor. I definitely would Set It Off on here, and I just think how he was layering a lot of these tracks up were to be counters to whatever Chris was bringing, and I just felt like this and some of the later rounds, he just had the right answers for what Chris was doing, thinking it was going to be automatic almost for him, or he's not going to have something to match that that same energy or that same vibe, and
Would you have expected any of these, like a Set It Off, or like before this happened, would you have expected a Set It Off or Young Gifted and Black to have been played before the 10th round?
Young Gifted and Black per se, because it's a slower cut. That could have been like a round 10, 11. But if you're Kane, you got to get this thing going early.
Oh, you want to like pull it in? You think he's trying to like get it early before it, so it doesn't get away from him?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay.
You gotta establish.
Like I felt like he's trying to set the tone.
Yep.
More or less, in his favor, where he can kind of have a little bit of a buffer. Let's say when Chris starts pulling from something that he might not be able to match up with. So I thought this was a good, momentum shifter here in this round.
No doubt. Yeah, Kane was on fire at this point in my mind.
Yeah. All right, so we all went with Kane with that. So after 5 rounds, we got 3-2. Slay Edge, here for King Asiatic here. So now we slipping into round 6. We have My Philosophy going against Mortal Kombat. definitely tight one here.
Another
So
smoker.
yeah.
I felt like this round, KRS, he decided to up the thump on this round after having to follow up, set it off. So I would just say, but I still gave this one to Kane. This is another A1 missile from his armory. Close round close round as both records were very like drum driven. Like I felt like sonically they were both like that was like the lead instrument for it. I feel like KRS was also trying to catch his breath a little bit more here. This is the first time where I felt like he was like where I respect both of them. They didn't have their spliff star, or their hype man, their Memphis Bleak. But it showed, and this was the first round where it showed. But I went Kane here, Mortal Kombat.
Yo, I'm surprised that you went Mortal Kombat because like my philosophy is a huge record, like it's a bigger record. But like this is when,
and I played them more than once. Like even after the live, I also did like the headphone experiment. I was like, all right, let me listen to just the music. So just my process.
Yeah, Puff Daddy 112. Say thank you. You know what I mean? Like this was that sample before, and then the BGs before Kane. But like this is when I'm like, man, can he defeat Thanos? Can the hip hop Thanos be defeated? I'm like, man, Kane is on a run here. Mortal Kombat for me as well, bro.
Oh, by default, that's Kane. But who did you go for, Renz?
We in the 3 right here, because
wow,
because that's why I felt when he, from the previous round was set it off. I think that kind of set the tone for some of these mid rounds at this point. And I'm also, we mentioned when we talk about the performance aspect, and that's where you start to see Chris get a little winded. Kane kind of still kept that same intensity. Where I didn't feel that, like I said, my philosophy might have been the big track. I don't think Chris's intensity was matching Kane at this point, So I gave Mortal Kombat to Kane right here.
You know what it was, fellas? To me, it was like he was just in his groove earlier, where I think Chris was kind of just free, like not that it was bad, like like Chris was doing his thing, but I think Kane was just in his pocket, operating like a technician. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Kane also benefits from not having like so many records where like KRS is very like loud and boisterous, you know what I mean? Like, and I think whether you're 56 or 36, like that's it's gonna be taxing on your energy. So
right. Chris is getting tired.
Yeah.
So that went unanimously.
Oh man,
this for Kane. So that's 2 rounds in a row, unanimous Kane. So right now we got 4-2 edge to Kane right now. So in round 7, we had Jimmy. You know what I mean? We all know about Jimmy.
This is the battle of sex right here. This is the sex round.
I like how they did this. Yeah, I like how this was probably definitely one where one or the other was like, all right, if he plays this, I can go that, because it just feeds right off. Like they align perfectly. Yeah.
They definitely did. And then of course we had get the job done. So where we looking at right now, the battle of the sex songs here, quote unquote.
Wasn't this what's it called? If I'm not mistaken, this is Kane actually goes into the crowd for this one.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. But what I noticed was, even though Kane went into the crowd for this one, when KRS was performing Jimmy, he had the crowd again rhyming along to his sex piece PSA for the evening. So I felt like he pulled it back to his side on this round. I gave this one to KRS.
KRS, all right.
Not mad at that. I mean, because he started with Super Ho and then went into Jimmy. I was still in the Kane trance, man. I was like, get the job done. I'm a big Teddy Riley fan in that New Jack Swing era, and to me, it really signifies like what these two guys are about. You have one guy on the other hand rapping about like, yo, man, you guys you should wear a condom. Like so
getting his sex ed on here, yeah.
So Jimmy can grow back, and then you got the other guy saying, "Yo, I get the job done, man." Like, I don't know what he's talking about. But it's just like the polar opposites, and what makes hip hop so great. And then and that was Kane's like peak point of him as a star in Hollywood, and like Madonna and all of that, and Naomi Campbell. So all that information went through my mind as that song was playing as well. So I went with Get the Job Done on this one with Kane, bro.
Yes. Likewise here. I just think this is like those rebuttals and chess matches here. He got the Jimmy. He's like, well, now that I got the Jimmy, I'm going to get the job done. You know what I mean? I look at, so, and this is to me the same thing where Jimmy might have been, big popular for Chris, but I'm also looking at, crowds going in. One thing I would say is almost like, there's certain artists where you can say you're looking for that crowd participation, but I think he was also looking for crowd participation because he was also a little winded in this round too, to me. When as I was
I think the crowd was louder for Jimmy, actually. Because
no, I think so. But what I'm saying is I think he also feed off of it because he was a little, as far as him performing now. You know what I mean? Versus, I'm looking at work, I'm looking at breath control and everything else. So these are the things I was looking at as well. No, the crowd was definitely, I think, was more involved. I just feel like Kane had the better performance aspect, with his track.
And we got to shout out Cool J, DJ Red Alert. Bringing him on was
yeah.
He came out, I think, later, right? He comes out. He actually comes out later.
He came out. Yeah, he didn't come out with Jimmy. He came out. Was it South Bronx? He came out.
I thought he had came out at this point.
There's one point where he shouts out Red Alert, but then there's a point later on where he actually brings him out.
Well, my bad, yeah, because Red Alert is actually he on the hook. That's what made me think about he came on this.
Oh, okay, yeah.
He on the Jimmy hook, but yeah.
Okay. All right, so we got 2-1 favor Kane. So round 7 is going to Kane. So right now we're looking at after 7 rounds, 5 for Kane, 2 for KRS here. All right, so as we dip into round 8, and this is where we start seeing some of the special guests coming out, of course. We have the part-time suckers. And then we have Kane with the response with Pippin Ain't Easy.
I'm surprised he even did part-time. I mean, I know it's a song for him, but
yeah,
this was like Chris being like not like bravado Chris and like being like, bro, like this is closer than you think, bro. Like, I think in KRS's head, he's like, I'll throw this one out here. Like, nah, brother, like Kane is on fire right now. We need, we need South Bronx. We need, So I gave it to Pimpin' Ain't Easy, and I'm not even in love with Pimpin' Ain't Easy, but the Nice and Smooth feature was a nice save. Yeah, it's a nice save.
They even had their joint after that. Yeah, like when KRS went a cappella, like that gave his choice a little extra life for me. Like when he even like in the freestyle, he's dissing like every rapper who ever bragged about diamonds and money ever. I think that was just like the freestyle portion. But I think Kane had the first guest, with Kane having the first guest appearance of the night with Nice and Smooth. He got this round, not off just song choice, but the fact that he had the guest appearance and it was a good performance versus KRS just having a regular song, I think tips this in the favor of Kane.
Yeah, and I looked at almost kind of like the same thing too, because then KRS, he's going against everything misogynist. He's like, oh, I know a little bit about pimping, and it might have been stronger, but it was just a good segue. Like I'm your antithesis right now, and then Nice and Smooth coming out, adding the extra pizzazz. I gave that that edge to Kane on there for sure as well. So that was so round 8 that we all went with Kane with that one. So wow, so after 8 rounds, we got 6-2 favor Kane right now. So, and I think, like I said, a lot of that momentum, I think, started around 5, as far as a lot of that shifting here.
Started off, yep.
All right, so we're down round 9, almost entering the first half. We had Black Cop.
Whew, this round.
You know what I mean?
Boy, oh boy.
Got Mad Lion coming in, sliding through as well. And then we had Kane with Raw, where a lot of people, Questlove especially, thought he should have held on a little bit longer, for the later rounds.
Well, this is another round I said not fair. I wrote not fair. Like I'm gonna make an executive call here just so we can kind of get this in completion. But Black Cop, crazy relevant record, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then with the addition of Mad Lion, and then Mad Lion doing his Take It Easy stuff. Yeah. A big shout out to the Patois, the Jamaican dance hall. Like I'm glad that was represented on this verses.
Yeah.
Again, this is like Kane's second or third missile that I feel like can't really Raw. What do you do with Raw, bro? Like what? Like
yeah.
Like I don't even know. Like Raw is how Big L was created. That was how Jay-Z was created. That's how Biggie was created. So I gotta take the nod to like I'm deciding right now that I'm just gonna go Raw.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I went KRS here for the same reason we went Kane in the last round. The performance is what put it over the top. You know what I'm saying? He had Black Cop, but then bringing out Mad Lion.
That was
Mad Lion sampled Black Cop for Shoot to Kill. You know what I'm saying? So I like how he included that in there. Yeah. And then Mad Lion went in to Take It Easy. So I mean, like if I'm kind of being consistent, with the last round, Kane took it because he had Nice and Smooth, and to me, as far as like the performance aspect, KRS takes this because even Raw is, again, I think it's a few times that, in my opinion, Kane fired off a couple too early, even if they benefited him early. This is another one that I think he fired off too early. When you watch that round, the energy for me is back in KRS's favor. So I gave this one to Chris.
I can't go against Raw, man.
Hard,
even
man.
With the Mad Lion thing, like when he came out with Raw, I'm like, because Black Cop was like Raw. I was like, and I struggle with it too. That was one of the first ones. Remember, I caught pretty much round 7 on last night, and then rewatch everything else earlier today. But I can't go against Raw, man, because as the track says, it's Raw. So he didn't want the gym. He wanted to go raw.
Oh man.
Yeah. So I went with Kane on this one.
Right.
Oh man. So with that said, after 9 rounds, right now, we got a 7-2 in favor of Kane.
So this is in real time. I wasn't talking to people on purpose. I might have shot y'all a couple messages, but in real time, I'm like, yo, like how we have it numbered was how I felt. I'm like, damn, yo, can KRS-One lose? Because just in hip hop, like, whatever, Kane is smooth. He's got so many. He's a dynamic battle rapper. He's got all these, characteristics about him. But like KRS-One globally in hip hop is a god. You know what I mean? And it's like I just can't. I'm not saying anyone is better than KRS-One. I just can't see KRS losing ever.
Yeah.
So this is why I'm like, yo, is my man is Chris gonna take a L? Like,
yeah, I had this more even. I had it by these first, it was like 9. Yeah, I had it 5-4, and that's why I was just like, this is a lot closer than I anticipated because it was a difference of just 1 for me, and it wasn't like right now our majority votes tally has it like favor all the way in Kane's favor. But when I was watching, I was like, this is a little closer than I anticipated, which to me makes for a more enjoyable watch,
Yeah. And even we're saying 7-2. It's not, to me, not true 7-2 in the sense where like a lot of these songs were very close,
And some of them I didn't even. I put a tie. One of them y'all had to be the decider votes.
Yeah, a lot of this almost kind of reminds me of like when the X Snoop verses, where it was so many songs that could go on either way. Even if you said, hey, Snoop might have the better record, like X, because anybody else would have had this round, or vice versa. If anybody wasn't Snoop, would have had this, and that's how I felt. So to me, it wasn't really like any duds. It was almost like this is a great track, but this one's slightly greater. You know what I mean? And so
this second round favored KRS though. This one KRS just was like,
oh, we're talking about for which one?
I'm sorry. Moving into this next 10, basically, or next 9.
Next 9. All right, so as we enter round 10, this is where I guess we're supposed to be more some of the freestyle aspects that Scratch was talking about. But essentially, it looks like I Want to Rock beat KRS-One went on, and then Kane, of course. I don't know what beat. I'm trying to remember what beat did he use. I can't remember. But I mean, it was both more like a freestyle round.
Yeah, and you know what? I had to do a little research on it because one of them was from like a later KRS. So like the beginning, before he went into that freestyle, and I didn't know this yesterday. It was from the second time I watched it. Before KRS goes into that freestyle, he does like a verse from a song called "Feel the Beat, Feel the Vibe." So that's the name of that. And then Kane's verse was from something he did with Domingo. It's called "Kill at Will," and then he did a freestyle. Because I was just like, because I when I would notice the transition, I was just like, I don't think this is I was like, this doesn't feel like entirely like a freestyle. So these are actual songs, and then they jump and they split it with a freestyle. Which I like. I honestly like. I wish more. I know people who wish Versus was just completely freestyle battling. So I like that they're they're combining it here. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I did like that. That's how they kicked off the second half of it. So
yeah,
me too.
Yeah,
me too.
So how are we looking for it as far as this freestyle aspect, as far as who might give that one to, or
this one I gave this one to Kane. I will say that. It was just simply me liking his bars better. Honestly, I'm listening to him and I'm like, man, I was like, if that freestyle, and it's probably maybe like a pre-written, maybe he wrote it like yesterday or something, right? I don't think I think KRS he goes off the top, but I don't think he went off the top for most of these. But I'm listening to Kane and I'm like, he's like well into his 50s and still sounds this good. Like, you know what I mean? And there's other examples, and there's another moment that I want to speak on. I want to elaborate on more, so I won't say it here, where I'm like, that's how you do it. Like for like the younger generation, I'm like, that's how you do it after having been in the game this much longer. So I gave it to the Kill at Will / his freestyle. So I gave it to Kane.
I went to Kane too. This is where Kane really shines in the element where you know, like, you know, they both can do multiple things on the mic. But like Brennan said earlier, it's like who can do it a little bit better, more precise. And we would see later in the next couple of rounds that Chris was trying to drag, you know, this into his direction. Because Kane just got the double time. He can go fast, he can go slow.
Was this when he prefaced it, Brandon? When he was just like, we got to do it like fast. Like I remember he kind of like prefaced it. Yeah. Was this that part of it? Okay. Yeah. And then KRS is like, I can't go fast like that. Or something.
He's like, I can't do this. You know what I mean? Like, and that's when you like, damn, bro. Like, you don't hear the word I can't come out KRS-One mouth. You know, but it's
teacher,
about
damn
the
it.
opponent. Right.
Yeah. Student becoming the teacher. Damn.
So this was when Kane. To me, this is like the last Kane blow for me, though. Actually, spoiler alert. And but I did have Kane on his cipher.
Yeah, cipher. Yeah, I had the Kane on cipher. I just think that's just the precision that he was doing. You know, it was a surgery, lyrical surgery, and that's not even taking anything away from Chris. But this when we talk about double time, and I think a lot of people equate you rapping fast or doing a lot of double time being nice, and a lot of times you're not saying nothing. Like Kane was saying stuff all in that.
Is that the one where he was just like Facebook and Twitter it? Like I think that was that one, right? Like he killed that. Yeah, I was just like, Jesus.
Yeah, that was just a lyrical work out there for him, literally. Sure. But yeah, I gave with Kane with that one. I didn't think really, KRS could really compete with that, in this stage of the game. So that was all three for us on that one here. So for the first half, then we got right now 8-2 favor Kane. So now we're entering the second half, quote unquote, the verses, and we have Kane do. He had the freestyle on Keep It Thorough was Smooth Operator. And then we had KRS. He had Represent the Real, correct?
Yeah, he did. Yeah, and this one was kind of weird because Das Effects pretty much dominated like that set. Like I think KRS just kind of like maybe like helped with like a hook and stuff because he did Represent the Real, and then Das Effects did their joint. They did They Want Effects. So there was a little imbalance for me here because this felt more like he was giving Das Effects the stage for that, even though they do have a song together. KRS wasn't overly present for this, from what I recall.
Yeah. Again, kind of a giveaway round. I mean, like Smooth Operator that's another dart that, like, I mean,
he rightfully played it in the second half.
Yeah. I mean, this is definitely a second half joint. That was accurately placed. So actually, I'll go King on this one too.
Yeah, I got Kane here as well.
Yeah, Kane, for saying exactly what you were saying, that felt more like this Das Effect with a sprinkle KRS, doing a little, cleanup work, but not,
I even tried to rewind it, Renz. I'm like, am I missing his verses? I thought maybe I got distracted or something. I'm like, I was like, he didn't even do his verse or nothing. He played hype man for them. Like,
right.
I mean, and it's dope. It was a nice, what I'm saying, like homage, but it's also costing you around here.
And this is when I forget which one of the Das Effects. He was like, he kind of rapped a little too long.
He's like, all right, get off the stage.
Kane's like,
you haven't been on stage for a while.
Kane's like, get your man, bro. Get your man.
Well, one of them, I don't know who said it. He was just like, "We'll be back for our verses." And honestly, I'm thinking myself, I was like, do they have enough for like a verse? I'm not trying to be like negative, but I said, does DOS Effects have enough for a versus? Like 20, you know what I mean? So, but I mean, you know what? I think it's true. They probably hadn't been in front of an audience that big in how long, right? Like your excitement is going to be a little higher than usual. You know what I mean? So, right. So I kind of get it, but dude did kind of need to wrap it up. Like,
yeah.
Jimmy.
He was on his Irv Gotti energy, man. Like, I'm on the stage. I had champagne too.
I think we all saw this was clearly a layup.
That was Kane.
Kane didn't have to pretty much do much on this one. He could have did a throwaway track and probably would have said had this, the lack of input that Chris put into this round. So I went with Kane as well here.
And you know what? And I wanted to mention only because this deserves to be said in our episode in the previous round. I think in that feel the beat, feel the vibe. That's where and it's crazy that KRS-One performed it now. He has a line in there. It's like he's like find PM Dawn and ask they ass. And he's talking about and isn't what's it called? Somebody from there like died like years ago, right?
Yeah, someone out of the camp passed away.
I don't know the name because I'm not like very like, I can't sit here and say I know PM Dawn like that, but I know that was like Twitter was like, oh shit, he actually like said the line, you know what I mean? Because somebody did like a meme that like there's like dudes rolling over in his grave while he's over here like performing that. But I just wanted to mention that because like I know that was a thing, you know what I mean? Again, that was last round, but I just wanted to say it, while we are recording that. Like KRS knows that guy's dead, and he still said it. You know what I mean? Like,
that was a historic battle that's in the books. Like,
well, KRS went and threw dude off the stage. That's where I wish social media existed because there's no footage of that. It's just it's a legend, which actually I think makes the story a little bit more legendary because it's like you had to be there for it. But the story is consistent when you talk to people. They're like, "Yo, he went up there and threw dude off the stage."
Yeah.
Well, anyways, so now we're back to round 12. Round 11, we said that was Kane all the way. So now round 12.
Round 12. So round 12, we can start saying maybe now Kane, not Kane so much, but KRS saying, hey, okay, gotta reassess things because he came in with them step into a world, and then of course Kane countered with Wrath of Kane. So I don't know how y'all gentlemen feel, but I definitely felt like a little shift, starting around round 12 here.
Well, I think this was also the B-boy round, right?
Man.
That's another thing. They incorporated the elements here. The only thing they didn't do was just spray paint during the set. You know what I mean? Like, but they had Rocksteady crew here. You know what I'm saying? They had like the DJ said, like, I love that. Me personally here, nothing's beating Step Into a World. This was KRS-One for me. The crowd went ape shit. That's one of his heavy missiles. And to me, this is the Step Into a World. Nothing against Wrath of Kane, but I don't know. This is where, would Ain't No Half Steppin' have been a better matchup? Like, you know what I mean? Like, does he need one of his higher ones? I don't know where you guys went. You guys might have went Kane here. I think nothing's beating Step Into a World.
Yeah, the Rapture wins for me. Wrath of Kane is excellent. You know what I mean? The Marley Marl remix and all of that. But I agree, Ray. This is a direct missile. This is a bomb over Baghdad. Everybody get down, duck. BDP in the house.
1999.
That's for me.
Yeah, I struggle with this one because initially I think I had Wrath of Kane initially the first time around listening.
Wrath of Kane is phenomenal.
It's such a hard track.
Yeah, again, he wisely saved it for the second half. But again, Step Into a World.
After further review, as I went back into the replays to reassess everything, I said, I can't front on, I can't front on the Rapture here. I remember when that first came out, we were what 8th, 9th grade?
Yeah.
I bought the CD off of this track.
Me too.
You know what I mean? I remember in study hall just reciting the lyrics. I'm like,
I remember Bad Boy even did a remix to this.
Yep. And we won't stop.
I remember that.
We can't stop.
Oh yeah. So yes.
Because it came out during the Bad Boy run, like there's like 97 or something like that. Yeah.
Illustrating lyrical expert to your network. That was a banger, that remix.
I like the remix. It wasn't like big. It's hard to do a remix to a smash like that, but the remix is not bad. It's like a very good B-side, definitely.
Yep. Agreed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So after 12 rounds, we got 9 for Kane, 3 for KRS. All right. So we're going to enter round 13 when we got the South Bronx and Kane with no half stepping.
Woo. Another crazy round.
See that this is where the matchups get a little tighter. I like this. This was where DJ Scratch, he did the Friday the 13th and he kept looping it back. He went down, he came back up with the Jason mask. I was just like, bravo. I know how important these records are, especially South Bronx because of the Bridge Wars. But I prefer Ain't No Half Stepping. Be honest, I went Kane here. This is one where I understand this one can go either way, but I'm just getting mine out the way right now. I gave this one to Kane.
Yo, this is my favorite Big Daddy Kane song of all time. So I don't know if anything Chris could have played, last night that'd had me favor. Like this is a missile. This is the number 4 missile for Kane to me. Mm-hmm. South Bronx is like, come on, man, that's a monumental hip hop track.
Yeah. Which is why he saved Ain't No Half Stepping for this part.
They know at this point it's like
South Bronx.
This is the stare down and Cowboy at high noon.
Yeah.
I went Ain't No Half Stepping, man.
Yeah, it's such tough one because South Bronx, like we said, we already know the impact of South Bronx track, especially in the early stages of hip hop. It was like my man came up with a smooth no half stepping. I'm like, and then with Scratch, just adding the extra pizzazz with getting the Jason mask on, and that goes back to ceremony. That goes back to the true craft of MCing and the relationship between the MC and his DJ. You know what I mean? And I saw, and when we look at Versus Whole, not saying Kid Capri didn't do the thing with KRS, but I felt like there was more chemistry at times with Scratch and Kane, especially when it was being last minute. I think Scratch has said that Kane might have hit him up a couple of days prior to Versus, asking him, "Hey, will you be my DJ that night?"
Because everybody thought it would have been Mr. C, right?
Mr. C, because this is his bread and butter for years.
Man, yeah. Yo, but that's a good point. I felt like Kid Capri, who is phenomenal. I didn't think like he's the best guy for KRS though, because Kid Capri is he's a vocal presence. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And, of course, he worked with his hands, but I thought like a better suitor for KRS-One would have been like a Jazzy Jeff, or just another DJ who like just is a little more like just quiet, and speaks more with their hands.
They talk with their hands, yeah.
Because KRS-One is like he's the Blastmaster. You know what I mean?
Yeah. All right, so looks like we all went for half stepping on round 13. So after 13 rounds, as we conclude, we got right now 10-3 in favor of Kane. So are we going to see a comeback for Chris? I mean, he's playing from behind.
I don't think there's enough rounds left. I think based on this, mathematically, I think Chris has been eliminated.
Well, I mean, let's see who wins all next round. I mean, I don't know how
people
vote right now.
Because what is it? You said it's how many after 13?
13 rounds.
It's how many
right now?
10-3.
Are we doing the 20? We're doing a full 20?
Well, technically, like I said, how the one split. And I guess we'll get when we get closer. We can
when we get to there, break it down when we get to that one.
Technically, give us to 20. If not, then technically we'll be like 19 or whatever. But we might have the 20 if at that point. So as we step into round 14, KRS now, I think, feeling a little bit of that pressure, comes out with Sound of the Police.
Woo!
And then
Missile.
And then
nothing's beating this.
Came up with a gem. A lot of people probably didn't realize it, his verse off of Big L's Platinum Plus.
Yeah. I don't, I don't mind the song. I didn't think it was I don't think it was like second half of the verses strength. I don't think it's joints Platinum Plus. I love that. That's one of the better posthumous albums from a rapper. The Big Picture from Big L, the Platinum Plus joint. I don't think as an entire record, this is me speaking, it was second half strength. I think this is something. I understand you want to set the tone in the beginning, but in terms of strength, I feel there's a lot of B-level KRS records that would have beaten Platinum Plus, and that's no disrespect to Big L or anything. Yeah. But now he's putting. I say that to say that you're putting Platinum Plus against. Sound of the Police, like even the most casual person recognizes that chorus. You know what I mean? I think the record is just too big. Like if you're gonna go Sound of the Police, like you gotta go with something else on the level of an Ain't No Half Stepping. You know, you got to go one of those missiles. Like to me, that's the disparity here in records. I like both.
He ran out, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. No. I do think he was.
Yeah, he ran
running.
Out here. Yeah, he running low. But I mean, Platinum. I thought it was a nice little ode to 98, 99. My favorite 2 years in hip hop.
It was a nice homage, to Big L too.
Yeah. And I remember. I mean, we was around for this, so I remember when that feature was out. You know, it was a big deal. Like, oh man, Big Daddy Kane is like, you know, on this Big L album. Yeah. That Big L album was a big deal anyway.
It actually went gold. That's the crazy part. Like, you know what I mean? And this album came out like 99, 2000. And you know, it wasn't like, you know, shrouded in a bunch of like you know, in 2000, like, you know, like Timbaland features, right? They made an actual Big L sounding album. And what was he? Was it I think it was even a Raucous release. If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, Raucous released it. Yeah.
And it went gold. You know what I mean? And I get it. Like sometimes when an artist passes away, that ups their profile. But honestly, it's a very enjoyable album. I like the album just as is.
Yeah. Chris for though. Sound of Police is a straight missile.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to go against that. You know how much I love Platinum Plus. I remember, you know, even hearing it because this was also around the time too where they were saying rumors that Kane might have been signed to The Rock. There were like some small rumors. Of course, that never materialized. But hearing Kane sounds so
not fresh. Kane, Big L. You said right?
No, Kane too.
Oh, Kane as well. Oh, okay, I didn't know that because I know Big L. They were like, they were like, the ink was gonna dry and all
Big
that.
L, definitely Big L.
Big L, yeah. And there was some rumblings about Kane, you know, due to his previous dealings with Jay,
you
know, from the early '90s, you know. But Sound of the Police, and I was going to be biased at first, and like, Platinum Plus, this called Fresh Kane sounded, but I'm like, you can't, you know, Sound of the Police is Sound of the Police, you know,
monster record.
You know, you can't really, you know, debate that, you know, with a straight face. You know what I mean? Unless you just hate KRS-One. You know, so Sound of Police it is, gentlemen. All right, so after 14, we still got Kane at 10, KRS now at 4. All right, so here's where it got interesting, and this is what we, you know, me and Ray were talking about more so than you to you know, before we got on air. So KRS technically did 2 songs. So he had Poetry, and then he also had Love's Gonna Get You. And then afterwards, you know, of course, Kane had 2 freestyles. One freestyle on the I Shot You beat. Not sure what beat was used for the second one.
It was just some trap beat. Yeah,
the trap beat. You know, when scratch like it's something for the younger, you know, young crowd, younger audience, or whatever. So I kind of separated those rounds. So I kind of count, you know, Poetry one round and match that up with I Shot You freestyle, and then I hit Love Gonna Get You as in the, you know, just, you know, how you initially had it right, round 16 with the, you know, with a trap freestyle.
Right.
Okay.
So, and we can kind of both talk about them simultaneously, obviously. But in both cases, I don't care how good a freestyle you are, you know, and Kane got busy, but neither of those freestyles are gonna beat Poetry and Love gonna Get You, you know. So
nope.
I thought it was odd. Yeah, he went with 2 freestyles, and maybe it's what you said where he was
running out
a
little bit.
You know?
Running out, yeah, I do agree a little bit that he was trying to stretch the end because he knew what he wanted to probably play for his last 2 records, you know. But
and also like, well, go ahead, bro.
No, I'm gonna say in part, I think like it says Scratch indicate how they were supposed to originally format it, and I think at that point King already had everything set, like you're saying, as far as where he would put out what records, think, okay, we're gonna have these battles and, you know, and everything else. Because you said from the start when they first announced it that he wanted to incorporate a lot of freestyle battles in between. So I think he was still gonna go based off what he was gonna do anyway, regardless at that point, because it was almost like putting no return, you know, especially if you dropped some of those missiles early, in early rounds. But if we're looking at, like I said, Poetry and Love's Gonna Get You, like, unless you're coming up with another song big or even to that level, your freestyles are not going to really hold any weight, you know, at all.
He killed that trap beat, though. He sounded better on a trap beat as a 50-something-year-old than a bunch of 20-year-olds. He managed to rock a trap beat and not use the same flow that everyone is using today. And actually, that trap beat, I don't know who did it. It was actually a dope sounding beat. It had a little bit of its own identity. I hope that's something that comes out or it can be found, because I like them as just freestyles. I like them, but like you're saying, these freestyles are not gonna beat like finished records that are the higher end of his catalog, of KRS's catalog. So
yeah. Man, it's the art of war. Like Kane had some success earlier in these rounds with dragging him out in the freestyle grounds. So hey, it makes sense to try to drag him out again, to just get everything you can out of what was working for you before. But this is where the rubber was kind of meeting the road a little bit, and you just can't compete with these KRS-One songs at this point.
Yeah. So we look at those, like I said, as two separate rounds. Then
Chris
between 15 and 16.
KRS
Chris was both. Yeah, that's how I was feeling.
Love's gonna get you, man. What poetry?
Yeah. So we look at round 15, round 16. We look at those pretty much automatics for Chris. Hands down. Which now kind of closing the gap a little bit. Now we're looking at 10-6, in favor of Kane currently. Now, here's where we would look at more of a split here, Stacks. So this one, KRS-One, did the acapella freestyle, and then at that point, Kane had, with a little short freestyle, went into another victory. And then, of course, you had the Bridges Over.
Yep.
So I kind of made them separate. I didn't look at them, so we still get 20 format in. So
wait, are you saying that you made this 2 rounds as well?
Yeah, because I mean, essentially, because KRS pretty much what they were like about a damn near 2-3, almost like a 3-minute freestyle.
Are you not going to add the buckshot feature that made no sense?
That's after this round. That's after this. Yeah.
Sorry, duck down.
Yeah, that was a very head scratcher.
Yeah.
But
you, Black Moon.
He was paying off a debt.
Yeah. But so we look at now this a freestyle versus freestyle one here. And Kane's was very short. I think, I don't know if Kane was even prepared for KRS to go off like that either. Because
this is heat, bro. This is heat right here.
It kind of started off kind of slow, and then he blacked out.
Yeah,
he blacked out on this one. And I think Kane knew it. That's why I think he just kept it short and sweet. Saying, "Look, I didn't get into the Shan thing. This is try to save face."
I think there's also the round where he brought out Roxanne Shante.
Yeah, Roxanne Shante.
Yeah. I thought Roxanne came out.
Oh no, she came out. Next round.
Yeah.
Oh my bad. I still have these as one round because I heard them as split.
Like
me too.
Yeah. So for the freestyle versus freestyle, I went with Chris, obviously. At this point.
Yeah, I went KRS here,
Same.
but like I said, the theme that was constant for me was I was like, these guys still have plenty left in the tank. Honestly, like if this in a way like. It's different. If there wasn't a Verzuz and I heard Big Daddy Kane was going to drop an album tomorrow, like I would check it out. But hearing how he freaked it on different types of beats, especially with the freestyles, this almost renewed an interest in me where like, I hope he's dropping something this year. You know what I mean? Because he's not, he's older, but he's still got it. He can still get it done.
His versatility is just amazing. Like,
yeah, he gets the job.
Yeah, gets the job done. Listen, he was still doing splits. Like when I saw the Juice Crew, they had the one night show, Electric Factory, like 3 or 4 years ago. This man's still doing splits on the stage. Like his stage presence is just crazy.
Dude, he got little EPs, like the Late Night Supper. I don't know if y'all remember that joint. He was like EP with a little live band, little jazz band. He was rocking with.
That came out what, 2-3 years?
Man, at this point, probably like 6 years ago. But
because he came out. I felt like he came out with a small project that kind of under the radar, but also with a live band though.
Yeah, that was the supper joint. That was a supper project.
Okay, I thought it was another one beyond that. Okay.
Yeah. But he'll drop little Lucy's. I call them Lucy's. Like a little like him and Marco Polo, or like him and Primo, or stuff like that.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. So now we slide into round 18. We got KRS with the Bridges Over and Kane with another victory here. So I don't know how y'all are feeling here. Cause now to me we get into like now we're dragging them drag out rounds here. Trying to see if you can pick skills.
Mine will be quick. Layup KRS Bridges Over.
Yeah, same. Another just missile record. Another victory. Smooth though, man. I encourage the listeners.
Yeah, it doesn't mean that any of these songs are bad. This is
Yeah.
one of those song placement versus song placement, and it's in KRS's favor here.
Yeah.
For the audience to know, this is not a Dipset Locks verse type versus where there was a clear cut.
Nah, at all.
You know, we're talking about two guys who are MCs. Like we talked about before, there's between an MC and a rapper. And these are two MCs, you know, in the most, you know, prolific form and fashions. Two separate different styles, you can say, but MCs nevertheless.
Two guys over 50 that performed for 2 hours, you know, managed to keep their breath control for the most part. No hype men, no crowding the stage with 100 people. It was just rapper versus rapper, and they put on a show. Like you said, like they represented the elements of hip hop, and I felt like it was their, in a weird way, it was their duty because they're the 80s guys, and they were there to remind you, like, you know, this is how it started. This is what was the norm before all of this, before what's going on now. This is what was.
And I think it was, and I think for younger audience, because I, you know, obviously there were probably some younger people who were not probably even familiar with a lot of their material. I think it's a good history lesson, you know, as far as understanding. Because probably, you know, I think so many people are so far removed from the elements of hip hop. You know, I remember growing up when people try to say, "Oh, that's not rap music, that's hip hop music." I'm like, "What are you talking about? This is all rap music. There's different subgenres, but everything is part of the hip hop culture." And you were able to see all that, you know, going into it.
What did KRS say? Rap is something you do. Hip hop is something you
live, baby. Yeah, something you live. Something you live. All right. So as we continue on, now we are getting into round 18, and this is where you, as you were mentioning, this was when Kane did bring Roxanne out. You know, at this point, so we had
even she rocked some bars too.
Yeah, she dropped a little something. You know what I mean? And as he mentioned, he came from Roxanne, you know, and that was a nice touch, you know, letting them know, like, hey, a female.
She put so many of them on here.
Yeah. You know, it's a male dominated genre, but she's the reason why I'm here. You know what I mean? The reason why the Juice Crew's here, you know, for
he credited for that the entire Juice Crew to her. Yep.
Yeah, that definitely, you know, respect and roses that she well, you know, deserved. So we got Symphony, and then we had KRS with acapella, and you know, Buckshot. How many MCs? You know, sliding through.
Yo, so Renz, and what's it called? That acapella was also from a later KRS album. Again, I didn't find this out till after because I was just doing my Googles. So because that acapella, I thought it was a freestyle too, because like it was all lines from familiar songs. METHOD, man. And then he was like, pick it up.
You sound familiar.
So that it sounded constructed. And the song is literally called, I think you hip hop versus rap.
Yeah. Yo, that was on the 2003 digital album. Check that out if y'all don't pick that up. That album
Pun is on that album. He did his Symphony 2000. I think it's called All In Together or something like that.
That album is great.
Or As Is, That
was great.
Yeah, but this song was from that. So it is hip hop versus rap. I didn't know that was the title of it yesterday. And then like you said, the random Buckshot. How many MCs?
Like, and then he like rapped the Kane, like he like dissed Kane and rapped.
He dissed Kane and shook his hand.
Like, what is going on? And then, but then he said, but you from the new school, so it's cool. What?
Yeah, I was like,
he's like, I respect you, and my mother's over there. And
what?
It was random. That was so random, man.
Yeah, I didn't get that at all. Other than that, I won't get somebody for your barrel disrespect you for whatever reason. Like,
that was crazy. That was what's her name? That was a little mama moment. I'm like, Buckshot, get off the damn
stage. Oh man.
And it was that versus what? Symphony?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is a fucking. I'm sorry, kids. This is a layup right here.
Symphony.
This is a layup
by default.
Yeah,
no Coogee rap, man. That's the only thing that was missing. And how petty was KRS-One? He's like, I asked KRS Coogee rap to come, but he declined. Like, you didn't have to say all that, bro.
He was getting Kyrie Irving on if he ain't show up. You know what I mean?
Hey man, I wasn't mad at him. I wasn't mad at Chris because I mean, you know, God bless. We hope Coogee it wasn't for nothing like medical or nothing like that. But hey, man, he listed off the names. He said Slick Rick down with us. He didn't say LL though, but
I noticed that.
You know, Rakim. So it's like, yo, G-Rap. I was wondering the same thing. Where you at, G? You know?
Yeah, comments. I'm like, oh man, G-Rap, because that to me that would have been icing on the cake. And I'm like,
it would have been nice on the cake. Oh, I was waiting for G-Rap too.
But we already know this Kane got this one. I mean, that was a given, especially at the Buckshot.
Right. And you know what? And I don't know if we said this on the Posse Cuts episode, but Symphony might be like the Posse Cut. Like honestly, like I really
blueprint.
Yeah, I think it might be and not even just because of it came out before so many. I think it's better than so many still.
Yeah.
You know, I think it may be the quintessential posse. What a posse cut is, like you said, the blueprint. You want to do a posse cut right there. That's one example right there.
We were fulfilled without Coogee Rap.
So imagine we were fulfilled without it. So imagine if he was there, man.
Yeah.
He Kane might have won 2 rounds off of that.
Straight up.
2-1.
But shout out to Craig G, Master Ace. They showed up. They took the train over.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So all right. So Warming Up Kane was next.
Warming Up Kane.
And then 9 Milli Bang. Madism.
Yeah. So after, based on how we did the split, so this would have been round 19 then, I believe.
Well, I have this at 20. So
this is 20. I had 9 millimeter.
Yeah, me too.
So
9 millimeter goes Bang. Versus Warm It Up Kane is 20. Is round 20.
Me too. 20. Yeah, me too. I didn't count the new KRS song.
Yeah. After that, So going into round 20, then right now we have, at least for my count here, y'all can double check my math here. I ain't the greatest mathematician, obviously, but I got right now 11-8 Kane.
We'll check it at the end after this last one. Yeah.
Right.
I've been filling them in here, but I'll count them after we do this.
All right, fair enough. All right, so round 20, at least the last official round before we got some bonus cuts from KRS. We had 9 millimeter goes Bang, and then we had Warm It Up Kane, which would have been Kane's last track on here as the finale, so to speak here. So 9 millimeter go Bang using so many different tracks over the years, so many different artists, almost this iconic within itself. But we still had a dope cut to end it with Warming Up Kane. So where we looking at here around 20 fellas.
I gave this to Kane. Another an instance where one song I enjoyed more than 2. But I also thought I guess I didn't think that Kane would end it with Warm It Up Kane. I'm not saying that Warm It Up Kane isn't like a top, play through 15 to 20, but like to me, like I would have thought, songs like Symphony and Ain't No Half Stepping would have been like 19 and 20. So
or even like a Raw, but
Raw. And Raw. You know me, I was saying Young, Black, and Gifted. You know what I mean? Like there's songs that for me like would have been, set it off, right? Yeah, those are like right there. But I would say, but I still went Warm It Up Kane here. Just honestly, I the performance factor wasn't really a factor for me here. I just threw on the headphones and I just favored Warm It Up Kane. This is really what did it for me here.
Yeah, I listened to this on headphones. Like I didn't have it like big TV, like big space. I had my sound like real synchronized. So I could just really just be just internal with what I was hearing. And I went with Warming Up Kane too. I love 9 Milli Bang and whatever. But Warming Up Kane is like that's the last song in the Kane Trinity. That'll get it done. Against anything pretty much.
Yeah, I agree. I just felt not only performance factor, but I just felt like as far as closers, I felt that was a better track to close versus a 9 millimeter. That might have been a good, maybe let's say early, maybe in the earlier rounds.
That could have been like a nice first song for KRS.
Yeah, but So I went with Kane on that one as well. As you're mentioning. Here we're looking at now, we're talking about how can Kane go. Chris can go deeper, but it's all like quality over quantity. And I felt like Chris probably used some of lesser known tracks or fillers more so than Kane did. So I gave this one to Kane as well. And then based off my math at least, and we'll do the official tally, this would have gave Kane the victory because I have right now 12. Based on how we voted, 12 in favor of Kane. 8 for KRS.
Yeah, I got 12-8 as well.
Yeah.
And and Brandon, how do you feel that what's it called? Oh no, I mean KRS, he teased self-destruction but didn't actually do any of it. How you guys feel?
Yeah.
How do you guys feel about that? That should have been coming into this. You're thinking, you're gonna get something of that. They tease it. You can actually hear it at one point, but then nothing happens.
He pulled a couple records like that. Like that was one of them. And I just take it to like, not that like there is a pro and a con, but I feel like KRS came out very loose and just kind of free. And I didn't think that benefited him like last night. I mean, don't get me wrong. Like I'm not trying to sound like it was incredible, man. They were incredible, but like, the downside to that just like loose kind of style is like, yo, bro, you kind of like slipped on opportunities where Kane kind of like, okay, we can argue that Kane might have not did everything at the particular round we were like, but Kane shot off every single missile that was supposed to be shot off.
Yeah. And this, to me, it goes back to chess versus checkers. I think, Kane was looking more of a pure chess match where KRS not as much. And I kind of thought about like this when we had the Verzuz party last year. Your boy Larry spot, we saw Patti LaBelle and Gladys Knight versus. To me, that was a clear example because to me this is similar, but more in the R&B spectrum. Where to me on paper, Patti LaBelle should have probably won that, but I think she was a little too loose. Where Gladys like, no, I'm going to hit you where I can get these rounds. Because I'm like, there's no way Patti can lose unless Patti not going to lose. She did the Sesame Street song, so it's like
she didn't have enough patty pies.
So it's like, you doing stuff like that, and Gladys hit you with plus or some of the pips, and I kind of felt like that with Kane and KRS, where Chris probably had more missiles that he could have shot off at.
Give me the Five Boroughs verse, man. Come on,
yo, a lot of stuff you left on the table.
This is just our like tres leches, this is how we just scoring it, but I think largely, I think a lot of people thought KRS-One. It might have been even, But
in my personal tally, I had KRS only by one. Like
close for you.
Incredibly close. Yeah.
But this is my opinion. I think that like KRS-One, you throw Jay-Z, you know what I mean, LL, super bravado, like confident MCs. I think KRS-One is more bravado and confident than those guys. And
call himself the teacher.
Come on, man. And I think sometimes where like, how can you prepare when you are just so like self-sufficient and confident? Again, my opinion, I think, and Big Daddy Kane is a confident dude, but I think that Kane knew what he was walking into the last night. Like KRS-One is the man, So I think that like, I think Kane had a healthy dose of fear, if I dare say that, to where you saw the kind of like how he just was like, all right, I'm gonna lay my arsenal out versus how Chris was like loose, man. Like Chris ain't feel like he was at harm, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He did the ha part time. He's laughing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
He was even telling, they're like, hey, can we do the DJ thing? No, this is called Verzuz. I'm here for Kane, not you. Back to work, peasant. Like, he didn't say that, but that part I was just like, cringe.
Last night.
Yeah, like he's scared. They did do a nice, like towards the end of it, like a nice RIP for Miss Melody. Like when they were talking about at the end, you gotta love how was it Big Daddy Kane was saying that he was saying that like KRS-One and Miss Melody is the reason why he was able to move out of his house. You know what I'm saying? When they got into like the whole background of his stuff, that was just like that part that was better than like, KRS just randomly wrapping up and just doing 2 songs and then like Kane never came out again. I thought that was a little weird, the order of that. But like when they were actually giving like the homage where they were speaking, I thought that was a really nice touch. Yeah.
Show the brotherhood, with them too. They were coming from 2 different crews that had semi beef. It didn't separate how they felt about each other as individuals and the respect that they had for each other. So that was definitely good for the culture to see in general, because when we look at a lot of some of these younger rappers now, where they're beefing over the most pettiest things, and here are these 2 guys who could really went to war if need be, and it's like we're brothers. Why?
And they come from an era where beef ain't social media, where you're just gonna social media. If it's beef, they're gonna show up to your concert and throw you off a stage, and to say the least. So.
No Twitter fingers here, No Twitter fingers. But man, let's look at what they brought to the table though. When we think about like the Jay-Z's, the Eminems, the Talib, the Mos Def, like so many are offsprings of these two guys.
Jay-Z and Nas, man. Come on. Come on.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I think all of our guys are offsprings. Before you get into like the hair splitting, all of our guys they were inspired by, especially these two, and then obviously a gang of others from the 80s. Yeah. Everybody was.
For sure. So I mean, it was excellent versus, hands
great,
down.
Man. It's fun, man.
Definitely one of the top tier ones here.
Do you think it's safe to say? I haven't watched every versus because not all of them call to me like that. But when in the hip hop space, does the East Coast by now have the best verses of all the regions at this point?
I'll say yes, only because I don't think we really had enough of the other regions, and I think maybe not enough of some of the top tiers. Like we haven't had like a Scarface, Tile versus, or like 8-Ball MJG, or even some of the West like Cube. And I don't think we've seen none of a lot of the real top tier artists yet on those regions. Versus on the East, we kind of have. So I mean, by default, a lot of this could change. Like imagine had Outkast on the verses if Andre came out. Well, Quarantine, and then we also I think versus now versus the very beginning kind of changed things.
The landscape
because they're not doing Zoom versus anymore.
Right. It's like Hit Boy had like a little thing like this is how my versus Kane and KRS's. He's in his room. You know what I mean? So yeah.
Yeah, I'm glad we're out of the space where it's like the 2 Chainz and Rick Ross, where they're like you share a room and then you just get up out of your chair and then I get up out of my chair. Like I'm glad we're at the space where like, all right, we're on the stage now. You know what I mean? Like we're bringing dancers out. We're hip hop, and you know what I mean. And so regardless, I think it's in the correct direction for anybody to represent.
I think up to this point, I think the East Coast has set the bar, especially with the Locks, Dipset. You've had RZA, Primo, Ghost, Ray,
love that one,
Red Meth. I think the East has set the bar, honestly, and to this point. And yeah, there's definitely a lot more top tier acts that you haven't seen from like Midwest, South, and West. But I think definitely to this point, I think the East has set the bar. Now it's either match it, pass it, or we shall see. But that was something that came to my mind. I was just like, I feel like the East is killing all the versus events. So Snoop and X. So that was East West, but
East West,
yeah, we'll see.
For sure. So any last words, gentlemen, before we wrap up for the night?
Hey man, the BIGB devil in there can any. I tried to do, I couldn't do it.
The BIGDAD I can't do it. The BIGDAD double DYKANE.
I mean, I think KRS-One said best. I can't do that shit, man.
I can't do that fast.
There we go.
I'm the teacher, but I can't teach that.
Perfect way to send off.
Yeah, but that was important. I think that one was one of those like it was everything. It was history. It was the like I said, sometimes you watch a movie and then like when they expand on the universe, you get like an origin story. And this is this was like one of the origin stories, because there's definitely other ones you could do, but this was kind of like an origin story for all of hip hop. It's not a regional thing. It's just there's even guys from other regions who were inspired by the guys from last night. So so it's like a hip hop origins versus. So
yeah, for sure.
Word. Love the culture, bro. If you're not in love with hip hop, man, you need to get with it. Like KRS-One, Big Daddy Kane. That's just like that's the fathers to like Ray said. So many of our greatest rappers. So, it's just a blessing, man. It's a gift that keeps giving.
Oh yeah, for sure. I guess we'll wrap up things, but till next time, peace, and much love and respect.
Yeah, check us out.
Get the job done and wear a Jimmy.
Again, check us out on all our social medias. Do you agree with the scoring? Who did you guys favor? Which songs did you feel were missing? Let us know what you guys thought about this versus. And on that note, we are out. Peace.
Peace.